Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's your brother Ananias again for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, coming to you again with another episode of The Awakening, giving you what you need so you can wake the hell up. A series dedicated to what? Giving you an uplift or upgrade to the different current events that's going on in the world today that they are not talking about in the news so much, but our focus is to give you more understanding of the things going on in the world so you can recognize the times and the things that are going on. All right. But before we get started, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahushua being His Son, who the world calls Christ, and through His strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted in the spirit. And shalom, peace, and greetings to my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are tuning in to this class tonight. My honest opinion, I hope that you learned something from tonight's class, but nonetheless, you start paying attention. If you hear the dog in the background, pardon that. But nonetheless, it's another episode of The Awakening, and we're going to get into it. It's called They're Trying to Kill Us. And we're going to get into a couple of different topics that's going on tonight, and give you brothers and sisters some more understanding than you had yesterday. So I appreciate you tuning in, and we're going to get right into it. As you can see on the screen, matter of fact, before we get there, let me swap it up right quick. Bear with me. All right. So we're going to go to this TikTok video just to alert our brothers and sisters to some things that are going on that you might not be aware of. So I'm going to let the video speak for itself. So as you can see, this video is going into some mosquitoes that were dropped over Baltimore over the holiday weekend, so-called holiday weekend, where these people were out celebrating, having a good time. So you've seen in the video, and all of a sudden, everybody was attacked by mosquitoes or little gnats. They just came out of nowhere. But in the video, they said that a helicopter flew over and dropped those mosquitoes out. And it's all being funded by, you've seen in the video, Bill Gates. But these things are nothing new. These things have been going on for a while. It's just once these things happen, we have to start digging into history, because as the scriptures say, what has happened shall happen. Ain't nothing new under the sun. I'm very greatly paraphrasing, but there's nothing new under the sun. So what happens in the past will happen again. And I'm going to show you that. This is an article from Wikipedia called the Operation Big Buzz. And it says Operation Big Buzz was a U.S. military entomological warfare field conducted in the U.S. city of Savannah, Georgia in 1955. The test involved dispersing over 300,000 mosquitoes from aircraft and through ground dispersal methods. So they were dropping them out of planes and they were letting them loose on the ground. It says Operation Big Buzz occurred in June 1955. So this wasn't too long ago. Like I said before, if it happened before, it's going to happen again. June 1955 in the U.S. state of Georgia. The operation was a field test designed to determine the feasibility of producing, storing, loading into munitions, and dispersing from aircraft the yellow fever mosquito. You see that? Yellow fever is a viral disease of typical short duration. In most cases, symptoms include fever, chills, loss of appetite, nausea, muscle pains, particularly in the back, and headaches. It says symptoms that typically improve within 5 days. So this is information that the so-called U.S. government was doing in 1955, dropping mosquitoes that they had in the lab, dropping mosquitoes from planes and releasing them into the wild or out into the public with a damn yellow fever disease in it. It says, though these were not, operation was to determine whether the mosquitoes would survive their dispersion and seek meals on the ground. So they were testing to see if these things were to would be able to survive once coming out of the lab. Kind of sort of how when you take animals that are born and bred in a zoo, then all of a sudden they want to release it back into the wild to see how it does. Then they want to track it, see if it eats, if it gets along with the other animals, things of that nature. But they said that it was it was used to produce, store, and load munitions. That's like munition is like ammo. And they were carrying what? The yellow fever. But it says, though these were not infected. Well, what are the ones that were infected? Where were they at? But it said the second goal was to determine whether the mosquito would survive being dispersed and seek meals on the ground. Now, that's wicked as hell when you think about it. But I'm going to continue to read the article. It says around 330,000 uninfected mosquitoes were dropped from aircraft and E-14 bombs and dispersed from the ground. This is in 1955 now. In total, about 1 million female mosquitoes were bred for testing. Remaining mosquitoes were used in munitions, loading, and storage tests. Those mosquitoes that were air dispersed were dropped from airplanes, not one, but airplanes, 300 feet above the ground. 300 feet is not that high when you're thinking about it. Being in a plane, that's not that high. It said drop from airplanes 300 feet above the ground, spreading out their own and due to the wind. So this is nothing new, but these are the things that our people should be aware of. And I brought that up. Matter of fact, let me go to Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1. Because this is the whole purpose as to why we do these classes. The book of Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1. And it said, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people. He didn't say speak to the whole world. So this message is targeted to our brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. It says, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. So, being in this truth, brothers and sisters are commanded to be watchful, to be looking and paying attention to the things that are going on. So we have to seek out these different things, be looking through the news, paying attention to what's going on in society, the new laws that they're trying to bring into place, the crazy things that they're trying to create in the lab. We got to be paying attention to these things. Not that we can control it, But we have to be paying attention to these things because we have to give warning to our brothers and sisters. And if we don't do so, blood is on our hands as watchmen, as brothers and sisters in this truth. We have to be mindful of the things that are going on constantly, day in and day out, you know. But let's go back to this article. You know what? It's another one I wanted to get to. All right. This is proof also that they've been doing this for a while. Let me see. All right. This is an article from ABC News in San Diego. It says the county to drop mosquito larvicide in local waterways starting next week. So they getting ready to drop these mosquitoes in the water. They doing it purposely. Let me blow this up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Excuse me. It says San Diego County will conduct its first larvicide drop of the year on up to 51 local waterways as part of a campaign to combat diseases spread by mosquitoes such as Nile or West Nile virus. It was announced Wednesday. So they getting ready to drop these mosquitoes or these larvae in 51 local waterways. It says aerial larvicide drops are carried out once a month between April and October each year, covering about or around 1,300 acres of mosquito breeding areas. It says the routine helicopter drops will be conducted next Wednesday and Thursday if necessary, according to a news release from the county. County officials say the larvicide does not hurt people or pets. Locally, larvicide drops have been conducted since the early 2000s when West Nile virus was first detected in the United States. So they're saying it like it's a poison, but they actually dropping these mosquitoes. Through the disease mainly affects birds, county officials say mosquitoes can pass on the disease by feeding on infected birds, then biting people. So just bringing these things out to let our people know what these people are actually doing behind the scenes, and these things are not making the news. So we got to be mindful of these things. Matter of fact, let me go to the book of Psalms chapter 37. The book of Psalms chapter 37. Because we got to be mindful of Esau and his wickedness. Let's go to the book of Psalms chapter 37, verse 7. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself, meaning don't beat yourself up because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Letting out mosquitoes saying you're doing test runs. Why are you in there creating, birthing, breeding mosquitoes in a lab? And you filling them up with West Nile or what they call yellow fever. Wicked. Says cease from anger and forsake wrath by keeping these commandments. It says fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So don't even think about trying to get on the same level with Esau to do wickedness. It says for evildoers shall be cut off. That's the prophecy. They will be cut off in the last days or in at the end. There will be no more Esau. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Those who are obedient, meek, who keep the commandments and have the faith, those will be the individuals that shall inherit the earth. It says, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. So yeah, this individual is in rulership right now. He got the ability to have labs, scientific labs. We don't have these things. He got his own army. We don't have armies. He got skyscraper buildings. We don't have these things. Yet for a little while, and the wicked shall not be. So we need to consider and realize this person, he's doing wicked right now because the Lord gave him the ability to be in that position. Because we failed to keep the commandments, he put the vile of the earth, the wicked, above us. It says, but the meek, like I said earlier, the obedient shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. And it says, the wicked plotteth against the just, meaning the Israelites, the righteous. The wicked plot against the just. Now, when you watch that video that we went over in the beginning, you understand that that was a so-called black gathering. All of a sudden, they were hit with mosquitoes from everywhere. Gnats, so you say. But mosquitoes, nonetheless. They just dropped them on top of them. They've done these things countless times before. And it said, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. So the wicked is constantly plotting against the Israelites, the nation of Israel. Because we are the only ones that can be just. Why? Because the commandments were given to the Israelites. And to be just or to be righteous is to keep the commandments. So we are the only ones who can be just. Therefore, you have the wicked constantly plotting on us. That's why they always have us with the worst restaurants in our neighborhoods, stores, living in poverty, giving us GMO foods. Everything that we have is the worst. Education in our neighborhoods, crime rates through the roof. Everything is the worst. They constantly plotting on us. Liquor stores on every corner, drugs infested communities. The wicked always are plotting on the just. These things are not so when you go to their neighborhoods. Verse 13, it said, the Lord shall laugh at him. Pay attention to that. He said, the Lord shall laugh at him. The him is Esau, the border of wickedness. When you read the book of Obadiah or the book of Malachi, it says, for he seeth that his day is coming. He knows what's going on. Esau reads. It's just our people don't read. He reads our book. He knows that his time is short. So he's going to be trying everything that he can in these last days. Just like you see so-called Bill Gates, not so-called, but you see Bill Gates doing what? Buying all this land up to control the farming, to control the food. Think about that. Why else would he be buying up all this farmland? Richard, he was one of the richest men in the world at one point in time. But why buy up land now? They know their time is coming. Verse 14, it says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be upright of upright conversation. Meaning those are the individuals who keep the commandments. When you have an upright conversation, you ain't talking about the wickedness of this world. You're talking about thus saith the Lord, about keeping these commandments. When you read the book of Revelation, it said that the dragon went to wage war with the woman or with the remnant of those who kept the commandments. That's the same thing being mentioned right here. The wicked drawn out the sword. But verse 15, it said, their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So just like it say in Proverbs, you dig a pit, you're going to fall in it. Everything that they trying to put together against us or conspire against the Israelites is going to end up falling upon them in the end. Why? Because the Lord already prophesied it or declared it from the beginning. Declared the ending from the beginning. But nonetheless, let's get back to where we was at. I got one more scripture before we move on to the next order. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 18. Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 18, and it reads, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. So Esau, whether you want to believe it or not, so-called white man, he never tells you exactly what's on his mind or what his intended purposes are. He's always saying one thing, but having another agenda at the same time. Just like when we standing and voting for these presidents, as they coming around to our different cities, communities, and they saying, gonna change some things up where you can get fed better education. They telling us these things because they want us to believe in them, so we'll stand in line and vote them in. But their whole mentality is to get in there and do what they have always wanted to do, which is continue building on hatred and wickedness. Because throughout history, you can look, no president I mean, not one president has ever done anything positive for the black community, so-called black, Hispanics, or Native American. For the Israelite community, they've never done anything for it. Nothing. Or you can say they gave us food stamps. How is that helping us? When you, in order to get food stamp benefits, you have to be unemployed, or you have to have such a low income that it's just like you ain't making no money, or like you're not working, so that they will feed you. Therefore, you're holding yourself back and your family just to be fed by your enemy. But our people think that that's something good. That's a handicap. That's you being trapped. But I'm going to go back and read this again. In Proverbs chapter 10, verse 18, it says, "He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool." So when you hide your intentions, you're a fool. And I want to go to the book of Job right quick, just to show you who exactly that fool is. Because it's already been spoken about. Everything that's going on in life has already been spoken about. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 5. And it reads, "They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks." These are the so-called cavemen, the Neanderthals that you see in these TV shows and cartoons and movies. The same ones that are living in the caves are the same ones who are ruling over us today. The only reason they are ruling over us today is because of our rebellion as a nation of people. All right. It says they dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth. When you look at any cartoon movie or TV show about cavemen, you'll see exactly who. Matter of fact, let's just type the word in. Caveman. And see who pops up. You see that? You don't see no so-called black man. What you see? Let's go to some of your favorite cartoons. The Cruise. If you ever seen that, you're not gonna see not one Israelite brother or sister in that show. Number Edomites. Let's go to everybody's favorite, Flintstones. Let's see if you see anybody in there then. Nah, you ain't gonna see it even on the Flintstone. Let's go to well, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Point being, Job was describing so-called white men. He talking about them. He knew about them. He said they were driven forth from among men. We were chasing them into the mountains, the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Look that up if you don't believe me. Look it up. That's where you get the term. Matter of fact, let's look that up. Caucasus Mountains. Caucasus Mountains. Where is that at? Caucasus Mountains is in Georgia, Russia. That's not a good picture. All right, that might be better. Hopefully you can see that. But this is Russia, the greatest Caucasus Mountains right here. This is where Esau was dwelling at, in the caves, in the cliffs of the valleys. All right. So going back, it said they were to dwell in the cliffs of the valley, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettle they were gathered together. They were children of fools. What What were we reading in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 18? He that hideth his wickedness with his lips is a fool. Children of fools, yea, children of base men. Base men meaning the bottom. Just like if you go to get a Camaro, Chevy Camaro, you got your base model, then you got your RT, your SRT. You got different levels, but you got the base model. Just like Esau is the base man. We are the elite. We the top of the high class. But right now we on the bottom of society because of our disobedience. It said they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, meaning disgusting. That's what the word vile means. Disgusting, obnoxious. Matter of fact, let's look that up. What does the word vile mean? Extremely unpleasant. Let's look at some synonyms. Wow. Dreadful, abominable, atrocious, offensive, obnoxious, odious, unsavory, repulsive, off-putting, repellent, revolting, repugnant, disgusting, distasteful. All these different things describe Esau. But today they have rulership. They have control of the media. That means in your movies, your TV shows, all these different things. And they present themselves to be the best of the best, which I can't blame them. If I was the scum of the earth and I had an opportunity to be in rulership, I'm not going to present myself to be scum as to what I really am. I would make up a lie as well. But nonetheless, let's go back. It says, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. It says, and now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. Now we are called by whatever they label us. Negroes, niggas, thugs, thots, African Americans. It says they abhor me, meaning they hate me. They flee far from me. That's why they leave you in the hood and they flee out to suburbia, and spare not to spit in my face. They don't care. It's nothing to them to spit in your face at all. This is why they don't hesitate to drop mosquitoes in your neighborhood while you out having a barbecue, celebrating the 4th, which is wicked as hell. We are not supposed to be doing these things. And that's one of the reasons why that happened. We out celebrating pagan holidays that have nothing to do with us, Israel. Because when they so-called had their independence, we were doing what? Picking their cotton, serving them. We were still in bondage, just like we are today. But it say he abhor us, meaning he hate us. They flee far from us and spare not to spit in our face. Because he have loosed my cord and afflicted me. They have also let loose the bridle before me, meaning they broke the bands of which we used to have them in bondage. Upon my right hand rise the youth. They push away from my feet and they rise up against me the ways of their destruction. But that's all I wanted to get on there, just to prove to you who the fools were. Esau, so-called white man. All right. From there, let's go back to this other article. I want to switch gears a little bit and go to this bill they trying to pass up there in Michigan. And this is just a start, called a new hate speech bill. And Michigan would make it a felony to cause someone to feel threatened. All right. Bear with me. Said a Michigan hate speech bill that has passed the state house and is now in the hands of the Senate is alarming conservatives, people of faith, and legal experts. The bill HB 4474 is part of a package of legislation that would replace Michigan's existing ethnic intimidation act and make it a hate crime to cause someone to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. Under the bill's framework, sexual orientation and gender identity or expression are included as classless or classes protected against intimidation. If passed, the hate speech legislation would make violators guilty of a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. So what do you think they're doing right there? This is a bill they trying to pass so that if anybody is standing out teaching or saying anything about these people and their sexual orientation, telling them that it's wrong, saying that they need to repent, that it's going to be something where a violator would be guilty of a felony or punishable up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000 from telling somebody the truth. These are wicked individuals that are trying to pass these laws, you know. Matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. The book of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. And it reads, woe, meaning destruction, unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from justice, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. So the Lord said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. They've always done these things throughout history. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Woe be unto them who decree or put in mandates, different laws of unrighteous decrees, and write grievousness which they have prescribed. These are the same ones that write mischief or frame mischief into law. What are they planning on doing? They trying to outlaw or set it up where nobody can chastise or check or pass judgment on individuals who are doing wicked. So the minute that you tell them, hey brother, hey sister, you are not supposed to be being a man or laying down with another man. Brother, you can't lay down with another man. Sister, you can't lay down with another sister. Ain't no such thing as a trans. You are what the Lord created you to be. Now they can say, I feel threatened. And you can be penalized by being locked up and given a felony or a fine for $10,000. These are the things that they're trying to make come to pass. Unrighteous decrees, you know. But we got to strive to do what? Enter the gate. We can't be worried about that. These things are going to happen. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 13, right quick. Book of Luke, chapter 13, verse 24. And it reads, strive to enter at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter and shall not be able. Why? Because they're going to participate in the ways of this world. They're going to say when this law passes, if it passes, there's nothing wrong with it. Or they'll turn around and try to use that to their advantage, to stay in their wickedness. And then when they see that sky crack, then now they're going to try to get to the kingdom. It's too late then, you know. Our people going to be striving, trying to save me. I repent now. Nah, it's too late now. You were so busy trying to follow the ways of this world. You burnt your bridges. You said to hell with the Most High, following his commandments. You're going to follow Babylon. Hey, when that sky crack, it's too late. You know? Matter of fact, let's go to book of Psalms, chapter 12, verse 8. Bring out one more before I move on. Psalms, chapter 12, verse 8. And it reads, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Now we just read about who is violent in the earth. Esau. It said the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. They are your presidents, your senators, your governors, your CEOs. When they are exalted, wickedness walks on every side. Everywhere you go in society, you're going to be surrounded by wickedness. Everywhere you go, you're going to be surrounded by wickedness. They are your senators who sit up there and pass these bills, who run your businesses, your restaurants, who teach at your schools. When the vile are exalted, wickedness walks by every side, everywhere you turn. And this is no different. I'm going to read this article to you. This is NBC News fact check for a headline on Coming for Your Children chant at LGBT Pride March. All right. It says an NBC News story describing a chant by LGBT activists about coming for your children as lighthearted was fact-checked on Twitter after readers challenged the accuracy of the network's article. It says the headline for June 27 article from NBC Out, the LGBT focused brand of NBC News, read, "We're coming for your children" chant at NYC Drag March elicits the outrage. But activists say it's taken out of context. How can you take that out of context? You got men dressing up like women, walking down the street in a parade, waving these flags, talking about I'm coming for your children. How in the hell can you take that out of context? How can you try to justify that? But they saying it and putting it right on our faces, saying we coming for your children. They coming. Why else would you see them promoting what they doing in the 2-year-old commercial or cartoon in their school with their clothing? You go to Target, they got a whole section for the infants to be dressed that way, the toddlers to be dressed that way. The cartoons are coming out promoting that. You know, every movie you see, it's in there. Every commercial you see, it's in there. They are promoting their agenda, and they telling you we coming for your children. But our people say, they just joking. They took it out of context. What else could you possibly be saying? What else could possibly be saying? Or could be said at that time? Let's see if there's any more in this article. It says, one voice that is louder than the crowd. It's not clear whose or whether the speaker was a member of the community, is heard saying at least twice, "We're here and we're here. We're queer. We're coming for your children." You see that? The article stated. The story also claimed video footage of the chant was circulated by a right-wing web streamer channel, which the outlet did not identify. According to NBC, the chant has been used for years and is one of many provocative expressions used to regain control of slurs against the community or their people. So this is something they've been doing. I don't even want to read no more of this article because they just trying to dumb it down as if it's no big deal. But them same individuals who are walking through the chanting are the same ones who are in control in these businesses, who sit in the seat of power in the Congress, the councilmen, in the Senate, who make the rules. How else do you think that this agenda is being pushed so hard, so fast in these last days? But they trying to frame mischief into law, saying what? If you say anything against them, it's going to be a felony. You'll be fined $10,000. So in the midst of that being passed, what do you think is going to happen when you see them walking down the street? Ain't nobody going to say nothing. They going to shut the hell up and let them be wicked as hell and continue to try to get to your children. They already told you they coming for them. But, that's what we got to deal with. So that's why we had to teach our children day in and day out about keeping these commandments and the importance of it and the wickedness of this world. All right. Let's see where we at on time. All right. We still got some good time. So we're going to move to this other article dealing with, I'm sure most of us have heard, but this is, this End Time Headlines for those who don't know. Good site to go to find articles on things that are not really being discussed. But nonetheless, this is dealing with the riots going on over there in France over the teenager that was killed. and basically was sedition over the uprising. It says unraveling, France deploys over 45,000 police in an attempt to stomp out the revolt. Kind of remind you of something that happened here a couple years back, or every so many years. But it says rioting across France appeared to be less intense on Saturday, as tens of thousands of police have been deployed in cities across the country after the funeral of a teenager of North African descent, whose shooting by police sparked nationwide unrest. President Emmanuel Macron postponed a state visit to Germany that was due to begin on Sunday to handle the worst crisis for his leadership since the Yellow Vest protests paralyzed much of France in the late 2018. It says, according to Yahoo News, some 45,000 police were on the streets with specialized elite units, armored vehicles, and helicopters brought in to reinforce its three largest cities, Paris, Lyon, and Marseilles. On Sunday morning, the situation was calmer than previous 4 nights, although there was some tension in the central of Paris and sporadic clashes in the Mediterranean cities of Marseilles, Nice, and eastern city of Strasbourg. Well, I'm not really going to get into that, but the thing I wanted to bring out was that these individuals were uprising over there in France due to the unjust killing of a teenager. And, you had over 1,300 people get arrested. Let me see. They might have that facts in there. Yeah. It says the Interior Ministry said over 1,300 people had been arrested on a Friday night, compared with 875 the previous night. Although it describes the violence as lower in intensity, police said almost 200 people have been arrested nationwide on Saturday. So these people was out there protesting like hell. They was going in, tearing shit up out there. Excuse my language, but they were going to war out there. So they sent out 45,000 police. That's a lot of police. But let me get this scripture right quick. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter. Matter of fact, let's go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. Book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. Why am I'm trying to turn in the book. Let me put it on the screen. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And it reads, matter of fact, let me see. I'll start at verse 3. Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Just like the image of Caesar Borgia, that deceived many. They think Christ is a so-called white man. That's not nowhere in the scriptures. They have been deceived. But verse 6 says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. This is just the beginning. You're seeing little small inklings of uprisings all around the world. Famines all around the world. Just the beginning of sorrow. We ain't seen what's coming. We just seeing little inklings here and there. So it's our job to point these things out so our people are aware of what's going on. But for now, let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16, excuse me. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16, excuse me. And it reads, For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So it's going to be sedition among men, invading one another. And they ain't going to regard the kings or the princes. They ain't going to give a damn who in charge. When the people say we done had enough, hey, you're going to see what's happening. You see what's going on in France. What happened back in the day with George Floyd and other of our brothers and sisters. They rioted. Even back in the day with Rodney King. Still going on to this day. You know, it says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. These are just the beginning of sorrows. But we have to pay attention to the things that are going on to ready ourselves, to build ourselves up in the mind. We watching it overseas. Majority of the time, everything starts overseas, then it comes this way. You know, just like COVID did. Started in the east, came to the west. When Yahushua come, he coming from the east, he coming to the west. Understand that. But let's go to some more wickedness that we have to be aware of. Matter of fact, let me take this off. Sometimes it don't like to play the sound, so I got to do it another way. I want to show you this quick video of something that just happened not too long ago with one of our Israelite sisters, and we got to be aware of these things as well. This is how you know. Matter of fact, let me go. I'll play the video first.
Here at 5 o'clock with new details about a disturbing story we told you about yesterday. A Cleveland mother charged with murder after she allegedly leaves her baby home alone for more than a week and went on vacation.
News 5 anchor Tracy Carlos with the new details about the mother, Crystal Candelario.
Neighbors who live along West 97th Street in Cleveland are heartbroken about what police say unfolded inside this house.
We just couldn't believe that she was gone.
31-year-old Crystal Candelario is charged with murder in connection to the death of her daughter.
They watched the baby many times.
This neighbor and her daughter asked not to be identified.
Jalene, she was a happy baby, always smiling, always curious about stuff. She was wonderful. She was just a wonderful baby.
According to Cleveland Municipal Court records, Candelario told police she left her 16-month-old daughter home alone and unattended while she went on vacation to Puerto Rico and Detroit.
You can't make this up, man. She left the baby 16 months. 16 months. She left the baby at the house by herself to go on vacation.
And neighbors told me this is not the first time Candelario has left the baby home alone.
They say it ain't the first time. So when she did it the first time, they ain't say nothing. They ain't do nothing about it. That's our people today. Turning the blind eye, saying the hell with it. It ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't my household. That's what we got to come back to, loving each other, loving our brothers and sisters, rebuking our brothers and sisters, and not suffering sin upon them. They know this woman had left her child beforehand, yet and still they did nothing.
By herself, not only me, my friend across the street too, but she always be here by herself.
Neighbors told me she lives here with her 2 daughters and her parents. Her parents recently went on vacation and took Candelario's older daughter with them.
There were so many people here. She could have knocked on any of our doors and asked us to take care of Jalene, and we all would have.
Court records revealed when the mother returned 8 days later, she found her daughter unresponsive in the pack and play where she was left alone.
We were always playing with her. She was so gorgeous. And when they told us the state that they found her in, I was heartbroken.
We discovered that Candelario worked briefly at Hope Academy.
So you mean to tell me that this girl's parents went on vacation and took the mama and the older daughter, and nobody thought to ask, hey, where the baby at? Nobody thought to ask that. She probably lied if they did ask. But at the same time, they said this woman left the child for 8 days. And the neighbors talking about the baby was so beautiful. It was like a baby sister or whatever the case. You didn't hear that baby crying? Come on now.
North Coast as an instructional aide during the 2019-2020 school year. She worked at Citizens Academy Glenville since the fall of 2022. According to a statement from Breakthrough Public Schools based on recent reports, quote, "We have terminated her employment effective immediately."
I bet.
The statement goes on to say, "We are conducting an internal review to determine if there were any complaints of improper conduct during her tenure at Breakthrough Public Schools." Back in the neighborhood, neighbors here are struggling to process what happened inside this house.
She was like a little sister to me.
In Cleveland, Tracy Carlos, News 5.
I can't even believe our people done got to this point where we leaving our children at home for a whole week, a baby, and thinking they're going to be able to survive. Madness. Matter of fact, let me get that. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. This is one of the curses that's on our people for being rebellious. Said the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. The Lord hitting us with madness right now. Our people actually think that a child, a baby, gonna survive 8 days without no food, no water, nobody taking care of it. Hell, you can't even get an adult to go a day without eating no damn food. Call it fasting. You can't even get adults to do that today, let alone a damn child that's 16 years old. 16 months. Smitten with madness. That's wicked as hell, but that's how you know it's the last day. These are the times we living in. I got another video to show you right quick. This is unreal. All right.
Three children were rushed to the hospital after this car fire on May 26th in the Dillard's parking lot on Oviedo Mall Boulevard. Investigators say 24-year-old Alicia Moore had parked her car, left the children inside, and went into Dillard's. The arrest report says while inside Dillard's, loss prevention observed Moore and another unknown male began to shoplift items.
So she done left her kids in the car while she in there stealing. Madness. Astonishment of heart, blindness.
They were watched by security for approximately 1 hour. The report also says Moore began to leave the store and saw that her car was engulfed in flames. Police say she dropped the stolen merchandise prior to leaving the store. One child attempted to get out of the car. A shopper assisted in rescuing the children. One girl suffered several first-degree burns, specifically to her face and ears. Moore is charged with aggravated child neglect. Investigators say that Moore is also charged with arson since the car fire happened during the commission of a felony. She pled not guilty to both charges. In Oviedo, I'm Gail Pascal Brown, West 2 News.
You see that? These are the things that our people are turning to doing. Go in, you pull up to a store to go in there, you got kids locked up in the back of the car while you going into the store to steal. Wicked as hell, man. This is what we living in. This is the society that we living in. Let's go to the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse, I started verse 1. 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, this also, matter of fact, let me put it on the screen. Those who ain't got their book with me. 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men and women shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, high-headed, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. All these different things is what we see today going on constantly in these last times. That's how we know we're in the last times. When a mother of children can pull up and leave the kid in the car, lock them in there so she can go in the store and steal with somebody else that she done linked up with. And in the store for over an hour, stealing. Come out, drop the stolen merchandise, and realize her car on fire with the kids in there. That's instant karma, how y'all say, or judgment at its finest. But the wickedness of our people, we don't give a damn. We all about ourselves. Literally gonna pull up with your kids in the car to go steal. Why would you bring your kids with you to go commit wicked acts? Wicked and lewd acts. She's been doing it for a while, apparently. But still, why are you doing these things? All right. And this ain't something that's just started going on. These things are constantly going on. I just typed in woman leaves kids in car and she goes into the club. You got a story that pulled up about a woman in Alabama. Says Alabama mom accused of leaving baby alone in car for 6 hours outside a strip club. According to WPMI and WALA, Eva Rudolph, 20, of Pritchard, surrendered to police Tuesday after video circulated on social media showing her infant daughter alone in a locked vehicle parked outside Lotus Gentlemen's Club early Saturday. This is in 2020. All right, this one in 2014. Woman leaves child in car to go in nightclub. 3-year-old son alone in a hot car and she going to the nightclub. Can't make this up, man. Let's see. She left a 3-year-old daughter in the car. This in 2019 while she worked in the strip club. This is madness, man. Texas mom, 2019. Constantly going to the strip club, going wherever to do God knows what, to make money or to have a good time. Destroying the kids, seeking after vain pleasures. Matter of fact, let me go to, I ain't even going into that. I'm going to just leave it as is. But I just want to bring these things out to our brothers and sisters just to show you how mad and crazy our people are, you know, and to show you the things that our enemies are doing and plotting against us with. They creating wicked things in labs, wicked devices, you know, to destroy us, to do all manner of wickedness. And it got our people afraid to speak and speak against the wickedness of this world. And they trying to create laws that have our people afraid to say something. Due to the fact that you can get locked up and fined heavily for speaking against it. And they telling you in your face while they're putting these laws in place that we coming for your children. So just pay attention to the signs and the times to understand what's really going on. And I just pray and hope that you brothers and sisters learn something tonight, that you continue to search and dig for more information and pay attention to what's going on around you. Get your hand or your head out of your hand and look up and pay attention to what's going on. You in this truth for a reason. Not to just stay on social media all day, but to be looking up and paying attention and at the same time building yourself up in your household and restoring your nation of people so that we can get the hell out of here. But On that note, I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And it's been an honor and a privilege as always to come before you to give you an edifying lesson. My goal was to teach you something and uplift you in spirit. But got to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. I appreciate you brothers and sisters tuning in tonight and who will tune in. Stay up in the spirit. Keep the commandments, have the faith, be in that kingdom soon. So on that note, I say shalom, shalom, peace and grease to my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Stay pushing, pressing toward the mark. And on that note, I'm out, and I love you. Shalom.